Well, that about does it.
I was given a commission recently for a brunette angel and was given the somewhat daunting task of having creative freedom, which made me reflect on my skills, how I was going to approach it, and ultimately how I was going to challenge myself with this painting. This might be a little longer than normal, but this video is going to be a journey through my acrylic painting process. I'm Charles Hancock, and this is Charles Hancock Creations. I sketched up some pose options and presented them. Even if my patron wasn't interested in using all the options, there was definitely some I was interested in attempting in the future. But with her pose settled on and annotations made, I drew a clean anatomical sketch to transfer to the canvas. On a pre-primed canvas, I made some adjustments to my sketch and gave it another bath in gesso. So before we get started here on the painting, I want to take some raw umber or some burnt umber and really thin it out with some water just so I can move it around the canvas and use Q-tips to kind of remove some of it and give me an idea of what I'm going to do with the clouds in the foreground and background and kind of lay this thing out a little better. So I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing here, but if we look up close, these wider shapes here where I plan to put in my brightest highlights, and it's going to help me judge the tone of my main subject matter. I started the clouds first, working in midtones. I was attempting to build contrast between parts of the clouds and signifying the direction of the light. I was making sure to use somewhat loose strokes in order to sell the illusion. I then moved into cooler midtones before focusing on the deeper background. I was building my underpainting at this point. To accentuate the clouds at sunset, I had chosen to graduate my blues, going from dark to light, wet into wet. Then blending with a soft brush in one direction as much as possible. Afterward, I began refining the shapes and forms within the cloud. Let me pep this music up a bit. I had chosen these colors based on my own observations of early spring sunsets, and having this creative freedom, I decided to use that in the color scheme of these clouds. I'm a big fan of picturesque sunsets.
So I realized how out of shape this wing was and that my horizon didn't continue to where it was supposed to go. I already needed to put a final layer on the back, and I'm going to have to do some patchwork right in this region right here. But I'm going to let it dry for a minute and I'll get back into it, and then we'll start working on the highlights of these clouds.
I decided on using the Zorn palette for the angel skin color. This palette is a shortcut to a nice set of flesh tones. To get a likeness, I start with light and shadow shapes, and I avoid detail at the start. Once I feel okay about the basic values, I start working on smaller shapes and making sure that the planes are getting the correct values. All right, let me bring some reverence back to this acrylic revival. Painting a face that is smaller than my thumb presented some challenges. I just kept working until I was satisfied. I had to trust all of my drawing and painting experience when capturing a likeness. Before I move on to her dress, I finish refining some of the anatomy as well. I find fabric particularly difficult to render, and different fabrics have such a variety of attributes, but I continued trudging. I occasionally would step back to make sure it read from a distance, and it reads. But I don't like her dress. I want it more diaphanous. So I decided to repaint it with a little help of my wife being the model. I wanted it to flow and drape more. Hyped by the salvage dress, I wanted to just leap into the wings.
I don't know if I like these angel wings, so I think it's time to reevaluate.
I took a night off and I started again the next day. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to watch this video. I hope it gave you some sort of value, maybe helped you with your own attempts at acrylic painting. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Make sure to check out all my other social media. You know where to find me. Leave your thoughts in the comments beneath. I do enjoy reading those. I appreciate all the new subscribers. There's been a little bit of a burst on the channel recently, and that's been very positive for me. I do appreciate you all taking the time out to be here. And before I show you these last shots, I just want to remind you that life is what you create. So create something awesome. I look forward to seeing you guys again. I appreciate it. In a little pop-up video, believe it or not, I'm in this very choir that you're hearing right now.